Good morning everyone, and welcome back to Craft Eccentricity, and I hope you all had a wonderful weekend. Right, today we are up with the KSCRAFT pop-up hot box. This is what we're going to be doing. Now, I did try and get organised because I don't want you sitting there forever. So I've tried to simplify it as much as possible. So for those who have got the die, this is what you're going to need to do. I'm actually using heavyweight craft cardstock. So I haven't cut as many pieces as KSCRAFT did, and I'm only decorating parts of it so that you can actually see you know, the way that it goes together and what it looks like. Right, so in your set you're going to have a die shaped like this. Now, as I said, mine's heavyweight cardstock and I have cut 2. Now, KSCRAFT said if you're using lightweight cardstock, you need to cut 4, because this is what will hold your box and it will lift up and down with the ribbon. So I've cut 2, and then once you've done that, you need to cut the one that is exactly the same outer shape, but it's got a heart that will cut out, and lay that one on top. So now we've got this that is 3 thicknesses, kind of minus the aperture, so that is incredibly thick. So that's my first piece. My second piece is my square. So you need to cut a square. Well, I call it a square, it's not a true square. So, and I'll prove that to you. So you need to be able to fit your piece into there, and it's going to have movement to slide up and down. Now if you turn it that way, you can see that it overlaps, so it's not a true square. So make sure that you get your pieces where they should be. Right, so I'm putting those down there. So that's your square, that's your 2 pieces of one shape, and then the same shape but with the heart missing. Right, the next thing is the sides, and the sides are going to go to your square. I keep calling it a square and I shouldn't. So make sure you're getting the correct sides for things to go on to. Now these pieces, which are the sides of your box, I'm going to show it like that so you can see. This is the bit that glues underneath, and this is the bit that will fold down. So that will fold down and glue once you've done all 4, so that it's nice and tidy and very sturdy. And that is going to be the first thing that we're going to do in a second. And then you get another one which is a side which has got tabs on, so that basically just attaches onto that one as you go around, so that you've got a nice sturdy finish. Next up, I have completed this. This is the easiest part, and this is the heart-shaped box. So you quite literally cut your heart shape, you cut 2 sides, you bend them over, and you glue. Now I've done mine different to KSCRAFT. KSCRAFT glues her little tabs on top of this heart here. I prefer to go to the outside edge, and the reason I do that is because it gives me a solid guide for the shape while these are under it. And I don't know, I just prefer it. And I think you have less transparency. Like there's a little bit there, you can see through it. I think you end up with less of it if you do it that way. And for me, having a shape to hug as I go around and bend these on, it's just a lot easier. So I've done that. Now I did do you've got decorative heart that goes inside, and I've done 2. So this is the one that I'm going to be using. That will pop into there and it will get glued into position. So I'm doing a nature theme, but I was playing around and I got some new stickers from ALIEXPRESS, and it's the Alice in Wonderland stickers, and I popped up on foam just because I wanted to have a look, you know, because you might just want to do a diorama rather than put candy. So, you know, you could build up all kinds of things like leaves and stuff in there. So I just wanted to share that with you. So if you wanted more dimension within it rather than fill it with candy, you can absolutely do that. So anyway, your heart-shaped box will sit into this shape here. and that will be the thing that lifts up and down. I've got 2 pieces of ribbon. This is just Dollar Tree organza ribbon. It's slightly wider than the holes, but that doesn't matter because it's really fine, and the mechanism works on opening the doors or the covers, whatever you want to call them. Then you're going to get another shape, and this sits on top of the box. So if I move that over to there, because that's kind of self-explanatory, that just makes a box. You're going to get a shape that cuts this out with tabs. And you're going to cut a second one in pattern paper, but you're going to cut these side tabs off so that all you've got is the cover like that. Now these are bent in. I'm just turning that so that you can see. And these will go over here. Now, one important thing, remove that part of the heart. Just cut straight across with a pair of scissors and squidgy your heart inside. Now, you're going to want part of your heart sticking up when you actually glue this within the box, so that your heart never gets lost below that line for lifting up. So that's that bit. And then you're going to have your little, I'm going to call them the doors. I'll put my heart into there for a minute so you can see how it comes together bit by bit. These are the doors that will go on, and they will tuck underneath your box once you've built it, and they sit there. And then you've got the little ribbon covers that go inside. This one is for this side. So that will go into there, so that when you open it up, can you see that? So you're going to have your ribbon coming up and coming through. So we're going to get to that in a second. And of course, there's a second one. So that will go there like that. And if I turn that over, you know, it's entirely up to you whether you want to have like your heavy wood grain on that side or on that side. I mean, you know, I might decide. But that's what that is. That's a wood grain pattern. And this one might not look like much, but if you look at this, you can see there's a faint pattern of doilies on here and a little bit of cream. It's just about showing up. Now, these digital papers that I've printed are from digitaldesigner.com, and they have seriously awesome scrapbook collections, and this is one of those prints, and you get all different layers, and that was just a map layer, and I layered over it watercolor and the butterfly, so you can just like create your own thing. So that's digitaldesigner.com, or is it Designer Digital? Whatever it is, I'll put a link below. Right, I think I've whittled enough now. So we've got that, and we've got our box, and we've got our ribbon. I'm just going to stuff that over to there so that we can build this, because then it will start to make a lot more sense, I hope. Because I think when you get an entire package of dies like that, it can be a little bit daunting, but don't be daunted. Right, so as I said before, it's not a perfect square, so go around and feel what is right, and that is right. Okay, now I actually put S on there, so but I want it to go on the inside. So I'm just going to glue these down now so that you can see. So we're going to go around all 4 edges. Let's pop this one on first. And you want your points to match your points. Yeah, that's right, isn't it? Get that over there. Now, if you're anything like me, you get loads of glue on your table. Right, just make sure that you can bend it. And that's that, and I'll get that bit of glue up. And now you know which is the right side, so the ones with the tabs, they'll go opposite each other. and then they'll just fold over and tuck in. Just make sure you got it nice on the other side. That looks straight. See that? Because that's going to tuck in. And then we've got the flat ones. So exactly the same again, and we're going to go with some glue along here. Just remember that you're not going to see inside of your box, because all of your workings will be in there. Now, if you look here, let me just flatten this out so that you can see all of your bits should butt up. And let's have a look at that. Ooh. I'm finding, you know, with my glue, especially in this weather, that I can move stuff around for quite a while, and my glue will still stick. So I don't know whether that's my humidity, but I'm quite impressed with that. Right, so we've got that one in, and now we have to go for number 4. So I'm just going to slide that under. Just make sure it's pushed in. And give that a press. Right, some of what I do can sometimes look a little bit awkward, I know, but it's just my camera angle. Right, so now what we've got is this. We've got our sides to glue. So I'll do one and then I'll just vanish just to save on camera time to do the other. So on that tab there, you want a little bit of glue, and you're just going to glue that. And I'm just going to do that exactly the same to the other 3 sides until I have a box, and I will be right back. Right, so I did that, and now you can see we've got these bits here that have to be tucked down. So we need to glue those into position, and that will hide those inner tabs and just make it look a lot smarter. So just get a bit of glue going. And I'll do those 2 sides first. So move those out of the way. And just bend that over. And the same for this one. Just make sure it's all smooth in there. And then we need glue on these sides. I'm kind of like going to the edge so that it squidges it down and out. Now that glue is going to take a second to dry, but you can see that we've got a box now that's all turned down and looks all neat and tidy. Right, I'm just going to let that glue dry a second and I'll come right back. Right, so next up we've got the heart piece, and first thing I want to do is I want to put some adhesive tape down, and I'm just looking. I've got different sizes of tape on my desk, and I just want to go in the area of the tabs on the reverse. So I'm going directly into the center here, And this is just going to hold the ribbon in place. Because the last thing that you want to do is lose your ribbon once you've sealed your other section on. Now my ribbon pieces, I cut them about 20 inches long so that I've got plenty just in case. Yeah, because you just never know just in case, do you? Right, so just find the middle of your ribbon, which is there. And then we're going to find the middle here. And then we're going to do exactly the same thing with the other piece. I'm just going to find the centre. I think it is actually a very good idea to make sure that you've got plenty of ribbon. And we're just going to find the centre here as well. And pop that down and smooth it on. Right, so now that we've got our ribbon in place, we can test that into the bottom of the box, because you should be able to pull it up. So make sure you got your box the right way around. Now if you hold your ribbons, that should lift. So if you're lifting, you're absolutely fine. Now your next piece is the one where you've got the turn down tabs, and we also need our heart-shaped box. Now I haven't glued my other thing into there yet, but into this you're going to have to thread your ribbon. Now there are strips for decorating all around your box, and it's really easy to just measure and cut strips if you want to, or decorate with anything else. And this die may look complicated just purely based on all of the pieces, but it's not really. Now I'm showing you how to do this. We've got to put tape around the edge. Right, so one of the things that you're going to need to do is take the heart out, because we haven't glued that yet. And your inner bits tuck inside. So although you want to score them, you kind of don't want to overscore, because you want them to twang to the outsides of your boxes. Now KSCRAFT said that this needs to be pushed down just slightly, so I'm eyeballing it and I'm saying 1/4 of an inch. So if that was something, you know, that you felt you needed to do with a pencil before getting to this stage, then you could certainly do that and it would hide it. Now if you get your heart-shaped box and pop that into there, you need to make sure that you've got some that is popping up. So if I go down on that corner, I mean, it will hold there quite firmly, and then if you grab those, see, now that section isn't glued down yet, but that's exactly what you want. You want your box to pop up. So I'm going to take my heart out just for a second because I need to glue it. And I'm putting my butterfly decoration down into there. So I'm hoping I haven't used so much decoration that you can't see what's going on, if you know what I mean. And I do like craft cardstock, so the fact that I've still got a lot of that on show doesn't bother me. So now I've got my little heart down in there. And the next thing that I want to do is put my tape around the edges. So I'm going to use, I'm trying to think, no, I'll use the thicker one. So you can just pop this up. You can leave your ribbons there if you want to, and just have it towards you like that so that you can see where you're sticking your tape. So we're going along those tabs. And I mean, if you want to use glue as well, you know, just to double up for security, you can absolutely do that. Because, of course, what you don't want to happen is for it to pull out. And you pull on your ribbons. Right, I'll just carry on doing this and be right back. Right, so I've applied my tape all the way around the edge there, and the next thing that I want to do is I want to glue my heart down. So I've got this, and I'm just going to go around the edge. So these are my high points, so I'm just getting some glue there, and then I'm squidging some there. And then you've got your heart outline in the base, but I'm just going to lift that off now. I just showed you how to do that before, but you don't need to do it at this stage. And then you want to fit your heart pretty central into the one that you've got here. So there's a little line that you should have all the way around. And then just pop that on just to make sure. Don't worry about your ribbon at the moment. I'm just making sure that that fits the heart. And then I've got that in the right place. Yep, that's okay. So I'm just going to pull that out now. And give that a good press. Right, so we've got our heart stuck down, and I've got to rethread the ribbons. Well, you've already seen me how I do that, so I'll just rush off and do it. Okay, so I've got those ribbons all threaded back through again, and now we need to take off our adhesive tape. So just take the backer off it. And we're going to wiggle it in. As I said before, you want to go down about 1/4 of an inch so that you've got some of your heart popping up through the aperture, and it stays that way all the time. So give your ribbons a tug just to get those nice and tidy out of your way. And we're going to start by manipulating this piece into here. As I said, 1/4 of an inch is what we need with our heart poking through. And because we've used adhesive tape, you know, you can wiggle that around a bit. And just make sure you've got your heart as you go in. Just give it a press. Right, so that looks about 1/4 of an inch. So I'm going to go down there. Just want it to be straight. So I'm actually going to pull that one up again. I'm just feeling that my heart is at the same height all the way around. Just eyeball your edges. I'm going to bring this side up a little bit more. And down just a little bit in the corner. Right, once you're kind of like happy with where you've got it, push your sides so that you've got any adhesive there that's going to stick. Make sure that you pull in your ribbon. Sit that heart down there. And that should be it. But I personally am going to add a little bit of glue. Now you do that not by pushing down on the top, but just pull your side away carefully. Can you see that? Get your nozzle of your glue. I haven't got my fine tip on at the moment. And just drip. Just a little bit. And I'm going to pull away on the other side, and I'm going to do the same thing and just drip a little bit and get that bit off there. Right, so all I'm going to do now is I'm going to pause while I'm just doing that, just holding it in position, and I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so that little bit of extra security is there, and you can see your boxes popped up, but you can just push that down for now, and you can see there it's still above that aperture, so that when you've got that into your sides in a minute, it will just lift up. So push that back down. Right, now the sides. So we've got two pieces. We've got our front covers, and as I said to you before, I hadn't decided which bit was going to go where. I kind of, if I move that out of the way, I think I kind of quite like the idea of that one on that side and that one on that side. Now we can glue these on before we put these on. So I'm just straightening those out. I want to get my ribbon out of the way so I don't get a ton of glue on it, because you know what I'm like. And I'll glue one side, and then I'll vanish and just glue the other. So you just want to pop that down squarely. So that it's allowed to bend. And now I'm just going to run off and do the other side. Right, so both of those sides are on, and if I just get it in camera there, you can see that your box should now look like this, you know, ready to be opened. So the bit that is the lifting mechanism is what goes on your sides here. So we'll just work on this side first. So this is what your side looks like, and I cut one in craft and I cut one in my printed paper, and this goes onto here. It fits right on this section. There's nothing here. There is a die that will cut decorative strips for you, but as I said at the beginning, I'm trying to leave it as plain as possible so that you can see the inner workings, and I hope my camera's not all blurred. There we go. So now you've got your two pieces of ribbon on this side, and they have to go. Now I'm trying to remember this correctly. I'm trying to think if it goes that way or if it goes that way. Well, what I can do is thread it through. Now, I'm also trying to think if that isn't supposed to be glued to that side. I don't think that it is. And this is why you need plenty of ribbon, because you need to find out exactly how much you're going to need for the mechanism to work. Oh. So if I pop that over there and under there, looking at this. So if I pull that and pull that, so I've got that almost to the point of lifting, and then if I just grab those two, yeah, right, okay, I can see it. So what I need is, I need to put some tape onto here. So I'm just going to grab some of that. Let's find the end of my tape. Now there are arrows on here, so I'm going to go here. So I'm basically going either side of the hole on that inner side piece. So let's just line those up. I mean, when you've never done anything before, and I haven't done this before, you know, the learning experience. I mean, there may be stuff that I'm doing wrong here, and you'll know that, so you won't repeat it. So I've got this here. I'm looking for the correct way, and it's the direction that my flowers grow. And if you feel, there is like a little embossed arrow. Now, I don't think you're going to be able to pick it up, but let's see how close we can go. No, I don't think it's going to pick it up, but there's an arrow right there. And now, if we thread these into here once more, now I'm just trying to think if I'm doing this right or wrong. I'm supposed to go over, aren't I? Yeah, so we're going over, not under. I guess it's just instinctual, isn't it, to want to try and hide it. So over we go. And it has to go to this point here. Yeah, that's right. So I am now going to pull this up, which means shortening it. Yeah. So I'm trying to find the easiest way for you, which is why I'm talking to myself. But right, that hasn't been attached to anything yet, but I can see that that works. Because I'm kind of somebody who would measure between the gap, if you know what I mean. So I'm just looking at that and wondering. Okay. Right, so here's where my brain is taking me. If you put your box down so that you've got this flap here, which is, you know, the bit that goes around the side of your box, and you've got that down level, and you pick your ribbon up, so that you've got it taut, then when you pull it all the way open, it's going to lift this, okay? That is what I am saying. So I'm going to go for that. So I'm just going to slide this forward here, and my ribbon is coming up on this side. So it's probably only that you need to put tape there. But I think a little bit of tape at the bottom, you know, is it's not going to hurt anything. Especially if you can peel it off. There we go. Right, so I've got this and I'm standing here. Right, where's my glue bottle? Now this is part of the mechanism, so I would say put a fair bit of glue in there. Right, so I've got it on the side. And I'm pulling that taut. That's how I'm choosing to do it. And I'm holding that there. And I'm going to pull that taut as well. I may be completely wrong doing this, but we're going to find out as soon as I do the other one. So can you see what I've done there? I've had my box up on the side and I've gone as taut as the width of this. Now obviously I can't pull on it yet because it's still wet, but I'm going to flap that out of the way. And then see where that gets me. Right. Okay, so now I'm just going to do exactly the same thing on the other side and I'll come straight back. Okay, so that side is also glued on, so that, just for another explanation there, if you open down to the sides, that is how much ribbon you've got. Okay, so now we need to trim off our excess, which is here. You could actually loop your ribbon if you wanted to, and if you were putting some journaly type stuff in there, you could pop a pen through the loop and that would hold the box closed. And get rid of that off there. So does it lift up? So it's supposed to close, so you can tie ribbon or what have you onto there to make sure that it remains closed. But let's see, does it pop up? Yes, it does. So it totally does pop up. And then you just push it down and you close it. But I actually made and printed a couple of little doodads to go on the top here. And I know I haven't cut my ribbon off very neatly, but that's because I've got a load of sticky on my scissors, which doesn't help. But I printed these and I've cut them out, so I'm going to stick them on because I just think they look decorative and nice. And I want to thank you so much for joining me today. I know that this was a long video, but hopefully it provides plenty of spaces within it so that you can pause if you've got the die and you know you're confused. So hopefully you'll be able to utilize the length of it for that. Right, just getting my foam off. When you're doing stuff like this, make sure you know that you support it well, because it's one of those things that's going to get a lot of use. Now I'm going to try my best to get it central. And I'm just going to go there. So there we have our little heart-shaped pop-up box with all these digital elements. I'll try and put the link to the digital print store below. And it pops up so that you can push it in. So I'll show you it pushed in, closed up, popping out. And that is what I've got for you today. Sorry about the rough trim on the ribbons. Right, as usual, all links below. And I'll be back again tomorrow with more from KSCRAFT. Bye.